like this. Dr. Drew, what is your reaction to that outpouring of emotion from their parents as they're holding their baby and realizing what they've made it through?
It's painful to watch, frankly, and it's so distressing to know that one man caused and changed the lives of so many with this senseless killing. These people's lives will never be the same. There's nothing more I can say to express what something like this is like to go through beyond what you just witnessed there by those poor victims. Mm-hmm. They are going to have acute stress reactions. They're going to have difficulty sleeping. They're going to have flashbacks. They're going to have mood disturbances. They're going to be irritable. They're not going to want to eat. If they are prone to substance use, that's going to escalate. And they may be at risk for a post-traumatic stress disorder where this goes on for months or even years. So this is, thank God they're alive, but they reacted in ways that I think any healthy person would react when faced with this unbelievable circumstance. They're not trained to do it. They're regular people like all of us, and they reacted as humans do. Unfortunately, in those experiences of extreme terror and extreme helplessness, your brain and your body will react for a long time afterwards. And I'm experiencing myself intense sadness and intense anger, both simultaneously. And I hope I'm expressing something that all of us are feeling as you watch these poor people experience this, which is sadness for them and angry for this needlessness. And let's all remind ourselves, don't do anything with that anger, because ultimately it's divisiveness and anger that's leading to this kinds of nonsense in the first place.
You know, Dr. Drew, what my mind goes to right now is children, young children who were perhaps excited to go to the theater this weekend with their parents, and now there are children right now, I'm sure, who have a fear that something bad is going to happen to them. That angers me.
Yeah, well, you mean the kids who actually had to witness this, had to live through this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those kids will never be the same. And the hope is that they will take advantage of mental health services and that victims' assistance will help out with this so that they can actually heal from this experience. But this changes the trajectory of everyone's life who was in that theater. And hopefully it elevates the conversation about this thing so all of us can think very seriously about what is going on in our country that leads to these kinds of incredible expressions of aggression.
Dr. Drew, I have a new detail that's coming in. I want to ask you about if we can go back to the accused shooter, James Holmes, as we're trying to piece together what we can about him. He'll be in court on Monday. There's a law enforcement source who's telling our Susan Candiotti that this happened, that he had colored his red hair and told police that he was the Joker. And of course, everyone knows the Joker is, one of the villains, not in this particular movie, but one of the villains in the Batman series. And then we also know that he told police that his apartment was booby-trapped. What is your reaction to this new development, though? This new development that he told police he was the Joker?
Again, I would discourage people from using their healthy minds, their healthy brains, from trying to make rational irrational behavior. Mm-hmm. How do we understand what this is? It's not as though, oh my goodness, my son could suddenly decide it's Halloween and he's going to pretend he's the Joker and do horrible things. That does not happen. But people that are sick do horrible, incomprehensible things that can take forms that look rational. They are not rational. This is somebody who is, I'm sure we're going to find, has deep disturbances. There is something, I mean, if you remember years ago back at University of Texas, Austin, when somebody was shooting from a clock tower,
from the tower,
they found later he had a brain tumor later. I mean, there are explanations for behavior that is incomprehensible. Now, he may be a horrible person, we don't know. He may be a sick person, we don't know. But to speculate about what's motivating this presently is going to be difficult to piece together. This business of it, back when Heath Ledger died, when he was playing the Joker, people went, oh, the reason he died, he was so stressed out. He got so involved in being the character, he lost track of reality. Well, if that had happened to Heath Ledger, that is severe pathology. That's somebody who's very, very sick. So I don't think that happened to him, in fact. And again, this guy, if in fact he lost track of reality and began believing he was some sort of imaginary character, that is very sick.
Let's talk about his father. Just a little while ago, his father travel from San Diego to come to Denver to talk to police about what has happened, to talk to him about his son. That's a family that's also in pain.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm imagining they know their son has had some sort of condition for quite some time. I would bet we're going to hear that he's been refusing treatment. I would love to know what the school records show, because the school does have responsibility. They have a professional student on their hands here. They have to be sure that these people get appropriate mental health care. So, yeah, absolutely. The family has to be absolutely mortified that something like this has happened in their family. I mean, imagine that. I mean, it's easy to get very angry with these people, and this is not an adolescent. You don't want to blame the parents. This is an adult, well into the adulthood, who the parents, let's say he does have mental illness, have no real power to exert influence over his treatment.
Dr. Drew, before I let you go, I want to ask you something, because unfortunately we seem to find ourselves here all too often with something horrible like this happening. What do you think is the most healthy, productive national conversation we can have about something like this after the fact? Because sometimes we miss the mark.
Yeah, Rochelle, I totally agree with you. And I've seen a lot of footage about gun control, and obviously that's an easy place to go with this. But I started thinking about this, and I may be completely off base, but it's something that bothered me. I've done a lot of reporting on bullying and the way social media has allowed people to act out their aggression. And it's almost, I'm going to speculate, complete speculation. I maybe have no business doing this, but let me just say this, that when so our social scientists tell us that when you give people power, they lose empathy. And I just wonder if social media and the anonymity and the power that it gives people to act out has caused a diminishment of our empathy, whereby people who have liabilities, like this man you're seeing alongside of me, now break through in ways that they perhaps didn't break through before, where aggression and acting out is encouraged and experienced on a daily basis. Empathy is diminished, and let's not forget, we have a situation in Washington that people watch every day where there's divisiveness, and aggression is something that is thought to be almost an entitlement today, and I am very concerned about that.